Hi everybody, my name is Anya and I'm recording my first knitting podcast thanks to my son who set me up with a system. I hope you're all doing well and you have your favourite beverage with you. This is my gorgeous fox cup, which I drink my coffee from every morning. It's good. So, first of all, where you can find me on the internet, I'm Fraoch Knits on Ravelry. I'm not on Instagram, but I'll have to change that. And yeah, I don't keep my Ravelry account up to date either, but you can see some of my work there. And I might start looking at filling in all the details of my projects as I go along so you guys can see them. So a little bit about myself. I'm from Ireland. I live in the west of Ireland. Excuse me. Apologies for the voice today, which isn't the best. I'm from the west of Ireland and I started knitting in 2019, I think. Very end of 2018, beginning of 2019. I won't tell you the full knitting story today, but I'll save that for another day because it's a bit long. But I have completely been captivated by knitting since 2019, and I spend a lot of time knitting and looking at knitting podcasts. And I decided, you know what, I should do my own knitting podcast because
I have decided for her.
Yeah, my son decided for me. And he's very persuasive. So here I am. And so this knitting podcast is going to take the form of looking at a few of my projects. I don't have any finished objects to show you today, but I do have about 3 works in progress, I think. And I can show you those. So on to the knitting works in progress. My first one is here. And this is a garment designed by an Irish designer using Irish hand-dyed wool, and it's called the Turntable Pullover by Albie and McLaughlin. I'll put all the information down in the show notes below this video so that you can see them. So this is a a sweater with a fold-over high neck, a turtleneck, I suppose you call it. And it's entirely in 3x1 rib, so it's going to look really nice when it's washed and blocked. At the moment it's still cinching together, so it is it's a turtleneck pullover with long sleeves, and it's really got a beautiful construction for the sleeves in that it the drop sleeve, contiguous sleeve, I think it's called, construction. You can see it there. I'll have to figure out how to work this. Sorry now. It's backwards, so it's really difficult to do this. Can you flip it? Okay, yeah, it's my son's flip. Okay, so yeah, there we are. And this construction just gives a really nice sleeve. What else can I say about it? The wool, or the yarn, is from Life in the Long Grass, so West Cork dyer. Beautiful, beautiful wool because of its colour. It's very good at colour. So I haven't worried about pooling. I've just carried on with the one skein at a time I'm not doing the 2 skeins at a time to avoid pulling. So I think it looks great. Yeah, that's it. It's a really nice design. I love Albina's patterns. They're really clear, really, really easy to follow, and I'd highly recommend them to anybody who wants to give them a go. So I can't wait to wear this. I actually should put it up against me to show you how it looks, how it's going to look. So that's pretty much it. And this will be folded down. So, nice jumper. It's merino, 100% merino, singles, so low twist. So I think there might be a bit of pilling. Already it's doing a little bit of that, but not too much. Yeah, so it's my first hand-dyed garment from hand-dyed wool completely. Up to this, I've been using sort of less expensive yarns because I feel like I'm just really learning to knit and practicing. But I'm really enjoying knitting with this. And the needle size is 3.25 millimeters, which is the recommended size for the pattern. And I did a swatch, I blocked it, and I got gauge, which is really unusual for me. But there you go. That's a happy project. I am very near the end of the hem. I'm just doing the final 2x2 rib at the bottom of the body, and then I have the sleeves to do. So it's taken me a while to finish the body, and I've been working on other projects while I'm doing it because I got a bit bored, to be honest. 3.25 millimeter needles with fingering weight yarn and 3x1 rib is a bit of a mountain to climb at times. There you go. That's that project. Oh yeah, I forgot to talk about what I'm wearing. I love this jumper. Even though sometimes I think it's a little bit loud, a little bit over the top, but hey ho, I love it. So there you go. This is a design that you probably will recognize. It's a design by Caitlin Hunter called the Birkin sweater, and it is a fingering weight colorwork yoke sweater with construction is really simple. It's just a circular yoke with regularly spaced increases. There's no raglan, and the sleeves are joined after finishing the top yoke. So this sweater is knit from yarn that I actually bought for another project, but decided not to do it and was looking for something to use the yarn for. It is Pearl Soho's linen quill, which I bought for a half and half round wrap. I didn't like the colour when I got it home, when it arrived home in the post from the States. That's the trouble with buying yarn online. And in Ireland, I live in the west of Ireland, and we don't have a really good yarn shop here. There's a good one in Dublin, this isn't it, which I really like, but it's very far away. And there's a very good one in Cork as well, Bantry Yarns, and Vibes and Scribes in Cork City. So all of those locations are about 3.5 hours from where I live. So my only real way of buying yarn is to buy it online. Screen has gone off. Ruben, can you help me? Why? I'm going to take a little break here with a cup of coffee while my son sorts out my technical difficulties. Thank you. Thanks, Ruben. Thanks, Ruben. Oh, yeah. Ruben has just showed me another project, which is a finished object, which I can show you, which he's very proud of. Okay, so yeah, this is a problem that I have when I'm buying yarn, is I'm almost, forced to buy it online because I don't live close to a yarn shop. And I envy people who live in Scandinavian countries or the States or places where there are big yarn shops. Canada, I see lots of amazing tours of yarn shops in different countries all over the world online. So it's, for me, that's like a sort of a virtual tour that I love seeing it, but I don't have the luxury of being able to shop in a yarn shop myself directly. So I have to rely on photographs of the colour of the yarn, and as you probably all know, they just don't ever really show you what the colour is. It's very difficult for them to represent accurately the colour in real life. So yeah, so this was bought for I'm talking about the yarn here, I'm talking about the main colour, which is the grey. It looks grey blue. It's actually Stillwater blue in the linen quill by Pearl Soho. It's really beautiful and really soft, really light. Ruben wants to tell me something. Just a moment. Oh yeah, okay. If I want to stop recording, I can pause it, can I? Okay. Okay, cool. So to the other colours in this. The colours are all from my stash. So this is a Mechita by the green is a Mechita by Malabrigo Yarns, also fingering weight. The deep red is from Ullcentrum. It's a sport weight. This is Hedgehog Fibres, the variegated pink. The purple is also from Ullcentrum. Really nice colour. Really, and you can see the way these colours lie really flat. The Ullcentrum yarns are really good for colour work. They lie really flat. This has been blocked actually, yeah. But even before blocking, the colour work was nice. And that's it. The white is also an Ullcentrum yarn, I think. So it's all 100% wool. Yeah, all 100% wool. Merino for the Mechita, and the Hedgehog Fibres and the Ullcentrum yarn is Scotland. Yeah, and of course Pearl Soho is a mix of alpaca and Peruvian Highland wool and linen, which I love. I love the linen flecks in Pearl Soho's linen quill. So yeah, the knit went well. I mean, I have a little bit of an issue at the neck where I used needles that were too large. I started off with a larger needle size and realized when I started with the yoke that it was going to be very big, so I went down a needle size. It wasn't enough for me to decide to rip back and reknit the collar. I think it's okay. It sits. I set it down on me. It works okay. I love it. So that's the Birkin by Caitlin Hunter. Now, Ruben has just shown that there is another finished object, which I knit for him earlier this year. And this is it. Now, he loves this jumper. I love knitting it. It didn't take very long because it is knit on big needles with big wool. It's Icelandic wool, Lettlopi, and it's a mix of the main colour is actually a marl that I made from holding two strands of Plotulopi together. So they're a white and a blue, a light blue and a darker blue. And I actually don't have off the top of my head the names of these colours, but I'll put them in the show notes below so you can check them out. But as you know, or maybe you don't, but Plotulopi and Lettlopi and Alphaslopi are all such reasonably priced yarns. And for me, buying online, yeah, they work well. The colours work well when I get them. The other colours in this are the white is a Lettlopi, and this is barley Lettlopi also. So I've mixed Lettlopi and two strands of Plotulopi held together. Now the thing about holding the two strands of Plotulopi together, they're actually a bigger. They give you a bigger gauge than the Lettlopi, even though they should really be the same, but because they're not twisted together, I reckon that's why it always works out a little bit of a bigger gauge. So when I came to the body, I left the bigger gauge, so it's quite a loose fit, which looks great. But for the arms, because this is for an 11-year-old, I didn't want the arms to be massive, so I brought them in a bit. I reduced the number of stitches on the arms just to accommodate for the thicker wool. So that worked out really well. So the shape was lovely. And the design is by a designer whose name I can't remember now. It was bought on Ravelry. All my patterns I buy on Ravelry, which I spend hours looking at and poring over and loving. So yeah, that's that sweater. And I'll put the name of the design and the designer in the show notes below. I think there's an adult version of this as well, but really, really nice sweater. Okay. Now I'm going to pause for a second because, oh yeah, Ruben's going to try it on, so I'll just pause for a second while he does that. Oh, he's going to try it on here now?
No, I was going to put it here.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, cool. Excellent. Okay, very good. Yeah.
There you go.
Okay.
You're recording again? Yeah, you are.
Hi again, everybody. I'm back again. Just, yeah.
0 seconds.
Oh yeah, sorry. I just paused for a second there. You probably didn't even notice. This is the sorry now. Life in the Long Grass. 100% superwash merino singles. That's the current work in progress. Oh yeah, the name of the colorway is Hillside. Okay, I'll just read the rest of the label to you because it sort of gives you an idea of what the yeah, so it's 366 meters per 100 grams, so it's a fingering weight yarn. It's an ethically sourced yarn. The colors are inspired by nature, hand dyed in our studio in the Irish countryside. So their website is litlg.com, so it's Life in the Long Grass, and they're on Instagram as well. I highly recommend to look at their website because their colours are absolutely stunning. They're really, really beautiful. So, on to the next work in progress. So this one is another garment, and I am not sure how I can show this to you, but it is a overall cabled cardigan, and there's going to be a zip, which I've never done before, so it's going to be really interesting to see how that works out. Zipped cardigan, and it's really simple design by a really brilliant designer, Anka Strick. I absolutely adore her, all of her designs. They're very straightforward, the patterns are so easy to follow, and my favourite jumper is one of her designs called Childhood. Now, this design is called Decision, and it is this is how far I've got. So I've shaped for so you knit top down and you shape for the neck by knitting, by doing increases. You do the left front first and then the right front. You do the start off at the back and you knit to the arm separation, and then you do the left front and then you do the right front. And you decrease as you go. And the sides have these lovely sections of 1x1 rib, and there will be a 1x1 rib collar, which is knit by picking up stitches at the top of the work at the end. And then I'm going to have to look up a tutorial to find out how to do a zip without puckering the front of the garment. Just turn around so that you can see. So this colour has become an obsession of mine this summer for some reason. All of the yarn that I'm interested in is in the same colour as this. So it's really squishy. I'm doing exactly what the pattern is. I've used the same yarn that the pattern is looked for. So it's 2 yarns held together. And this is the first time that I've done that. And they are this beautiful stuff here, which I picked up on a trip to London recently, a family holiday to London, and to see Harry Potter, actually, as it happens, which was really, really good. Highly recommend the Warner Brothers studio experience in London. So this is called, what's it called again? Rerum Natura Ulysse, of course. And it's really gorgeous. And I wondered why so many people were going on about it. And I can see why. It's really fluffy, but really toothy and really adorable, squishy. Lots of value for money. There are a lot of meters for. It's a 50-gram ball, which I think was £6.50. So, but 185 meters. Sport weight, but can be knit up as it can be knit up as a DK weight. Yeah, so it's really versatile yarn. Gorgeous color. I forget the name of the color now, but I'll put that in the notes. And it's held double with this beautiful stuff here. This is like gossamer. It is it's a Japanese brand, Ito Sensai it's called, and it is silk and mohair silk. And it gives the most incredible halo to the finished garment. Look at that. Absolutely gorgeous. I don't know if you can see that, but there's a beautiful halo of fluffiness to that. Okay. And I've been knitting this on and off with the 3x1 rib of my other garment, my turntable pullover by Albina, which I showed you first. So the 3x1 rib and the repeated cabling is not fast knitting. It's very slow, but really enjoyable. So these are sort of long-term summer projects. Yeah. So it's cold enough in Ireland to knit this type of stuff in the summer, you know. We have like 12 degrees. It's 12 degrees at the moment. Crazy. It's June. Sorry, it's July. It's the 3rd of July. Yeah. So we haven't had such good weather. But luckily, I was able to get away to Italy with Ruben. And we had a great time. It was too warm. So I'd like a happy medium somewhere in Europe. You know, when we were in Rome, it was up to 40 degrees. Humidity and unable to sleep at night, but we had fun. It was a relief to come back and walk off the airplane at Dublin Airport and, you know, breathe the fresh air. And yeah, it was really nice. So here we are, back to the rain and back to the cool temperatures, which I love. My screen is gone again. Can I just have that?
Okay.
Thanks. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So, what else? I've shown you Ruben's finished jumper. I've shown you the two works in progress that I'm knitting on at the moment, and my own finished what I'm wearing. So acquisitions. I have had a summer of a year of acquisitions actually. I've bought more yarn this year than I bought before because I've been able to go to shops. So in London, I went to a shop. I went to Wild and Woolly in London actually and got the Rerum Natura there. I'd heard so much about it, and it was really, really good to be able to feel it and look at the colours in person and make a decision on what yarn to buy. I bought it for a different project, which I always do. I always start off with an idea that I'm going to knit something, buy the yarn, and by the time I get around to knitting it, I've just completely thought of something else. So I don't know if anybody else has that problem. Maybe you could comment below and tell me if you do the same thing. You buy yarn for a project, and then by the time you get around to knitting it, you've had a complete change of mind and you're knitting something else with it. Let me know. So yeah, I want to. Oh, we're going to have to turn on the comments. We'll find a way through this. I'm just going to take a drink from my Fox mug. I hope you're having something nice and warm if you're in a cold country and cool if you're in a hot country. It's my favorite time of the day, the morning, with coffee. Okay, so yeah, we went to Wild and Woolly. We did a really nice time there. We went to a shop in a little town. I had a really nice time. Ruben was very patient. So I went to a nice shop in the north of Wales, which is near a town that my brother and sister-in-law live in. And that's called Yarn O'Clock in Mould. And thank you to the proprietor of Yarn O'Clock for being so patient with me when I took a long time to decide what I was going to buy. So more recently, I was in the north of Italy in Padua, and there was a lovely little shop there which sold the same colour again, the orange. So this was in the window, Rowan Creative Linen. And I was so hot when I was in Italy, I thought, I can't knit with wool. I needed to try linen and cotton. Sorry, this is actually a 50-50 mix of cotton and linen. I love linen, but not cotton so much. I'm not drawn to it. So I thought, well, 50% linen is a good amount to mix with the cotton. So I thought, well, maybe this would be nice. It was on sale. There were only 2 skeins left, and I thought I'll buy that and give it a go. If you have any ideas what I can knit with 200 grams of creative linen, let me know. Or if you've done anything with this, I'd love to see your projects. So that was my first acquisition. And then while I was in that shop, I realized they also had a special deal on this beauty here, which is Rowan KidSilk Haze. Again, another I keep forgetting the name, silk and mohair silk blend. And I have some more Ulysse. They're Natura Ulysse salt and pepper, which I'm thinking of knitting a garment with. And I thought I might hold a double with KidSilk Haze in the same way that I'm holding the Ulysse double for the Decision cardigan by Ankestrick, because that texture is so nice. So I bought enough for a sweater quantity of this. And I got a good deal on it. And then we were also in Rome, and I went to a gorgeous shop in Rome, a really old-fashioned yarn shop, where there's no browsing allowed. So they bring out the catalogues and they ask you, what would you like to look at? And then they bring you a selection from the shelves out the back. It's like a big warehouse. So I was interested in looking at lace weight yarns, alpaca. I was interested in alpaca, so I said this, and so she came out with this beauty here, which is, I just adore the colour. I don't know why. I am so obsessed with orange at the moment, rusty orange, but I couldn't leave this in the shop. So this is called, it's by Malabrigo Yarns, and it's called Glazed Carrot. Great name as well. So 70-30 baby alpaca silk. So 70 baby alpaca, 30% silk. It's a 50 gram skein, 385 meters, 50 grams. And I bought 3 of them. and I've already been looking on Ravelry for projects for this, and I think I'm going to be doing a lace weight shawl. I don't knit lace, by the way. I've never done it. So it'll be stocking stitch, or it's going to be a simple stitch. I'm not drawn to lace, to the lace stitch as such. Maybe one day I'll try. I love colour work. I love texture of cables. So 3 skeins of that. So they are my acquisitions. And a little bit, I suppose, just to end this podcast, I just want to say thank you all for looking at it, for viewing it, for being with me, for spending your time knitting with me. And actually, I'm speaking, I might as well knit with you for a little bit as we finish off the podcast. So, just a little bit more about who I am. Oh yeah, I think I'll tell you my knitting story now, actually, seeing as we've seen the few knits. So I knit in school. I was taught how to knit by my teachers in school. My mother was also a very good knitter, a very talented knitter. She knit Icelandic sweaters for all the family when I was a teenager in the 1980s in Ireland. We were so lucky because I don't know any other mother who did the same thing. So, yeah, I learned in school. I remember knitting, having a project as a 12-year-old, the final year of primary school, to knit a sweater, which I hated knitting. I think it put me off knitting for a long time. And my mother used to help me finish it, which just didn't suit my personality at all. I didn't like the idea that somebody else was doing it for me, but I didn't want to do it myself either. So I can understand her frustration too. So, yeah. I learned in school, and I'm forever grateful that actually knitting is a subject in primary schools. I think both boys and girls should be taught. I was in an all-girl convent school, so the boys weren't taught in their school, which I think is an awful shame. I think every child should be taught how to knit, and even if you don't keep knitting at that stage of your life, you might pick it up later, which I've done. It's become a big part of my life now. So, yeah, I learned in primary school. I didn't knit anything between the ages of 12 and 3 years ago, which is like 40 something. I was in my late 40s when I picked it up again. And I don't know what spurred me on to do it, but I remember the day that I was traveling on a long train journey and had a change of trains in Dublin. I was traveling from Cork to Westport by train, and everything goes through Dublin in this country, so you can imagine how long that took. So in our between train time in Dublin, I went into a bookshop to buy a book for the train journey and started looking at the knitting magazines. There were a few knitting magazines there, and my eye was caught by the Knitter magazine. And the cover of the Knitter at that time was of a shawl, the Shetland shawl. I'll put the reference in the show notes below because I highly recommend having a look at it. It's beautiful. But I decided to myself it was all over colour work, not something maybe that a beginner knitter might consider doing, but I just thought I'm going to knit that. So I bought the magazine, I went home, I ordered the yarn. The yarn arrived in the post. It was a kit, I think. Was it a kit? No, it wasn't a kit. It wasn't a kit. It was from Jameson's of Shetland Spindrift. And the designer is Maria Dahan. Beautiful designer, fabulous work. And it took me about 6 months. I thought it would take me a year. I thought it would take till the following Christmas to finish, but I actually did it in 6 months, which I was amazed at. Yeah, so that was my first project, and I was hooked. That was it. So that was Christmas of 2018 into 2019. So I've been knitting for 3 years now, I think. Seems like a lot longer. And I initially thought I started with a shawl because I thought, oh yeah, it's really simple. It's a triangular shape, simple shape with increases on either side all the way up, and just colour work was the only sort of difficulty with it. Oh yeah, it was a steeked pattern, but I didn't attempt the steeking. I just knit back and forth, which with colour work you might think is difficult, but it's not really. And once you get your head around it, it's actually really straightforward. I don't mind purling because I'm an English style knitter. I don't know how to do continental style, although I'm trying to teach myself. But the muscle memory is so strong with English style that I don't think I'll ever, well, never say never, but I may never convert to continental. Yeah, so where was I? I was supposed to steek that shawl, but I didn't. I did back and forth. So it just shows you can do anything you want. You don't have to follow the pattern. Whatever suits your level of knitting, and whatever you want to do. So it's been really nice hanging out with you, and yeah, just really enjoy doing this. Yeah, I will hopefully record another podcast soon and keep you up to date with all that's going on here. I hope your part of the world is good, that you're all well, keeping well, and you're enjoying what you're knitting. And I'd love to hear from you. So come
And I'm setting up my own YouTube channel.
Yeah, Ruben's setting up his too. And he's really made me do this, which is fantastic. He's great. Sometimes you just need a little bit of encouragement. And he's designing a logo for me. So. Oh, it's beautiful. He's designing a logo based on a stitch marker that I bought. Oh, I forgot to tell you actually. Another acquisition that I got when I was in Rome were these beautiful stitch markers. I'm using one as a progress keeper at the moment, but let's see if I can get this in the view of the camera. Very difficult to see. There it is. The light is catching it now. This one has an A on it. And these are made by Addy Needles, and they are a brilliant idea. The stitch markers with the letters A, B, C, D, E, and F on them, which means that you can use them to mark places in a pattern where the stitch pattern changes. And I know in the past I've sort of struggled to remember which is the right and which is the left and which is the front and which is the back of a garment. And this is hopefully going to help me get over that problem. Yeah. So that's it really. Thanks for being with me. Leave your comments below. Like and share this video. Like and subscribe. That'll help me. Okay. Bye.